Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Troy. Hey, listen, is anybody surprised that the right-wing MAGA fascist media is completely in bed with Russia? The same people that are in bed with Trump also in bed with Russia. I mean, it's not totally shocking, but check out this recent clip from Tucker Carlson's show where he's talking about the explosion at the Nord Stream pipeline. Check this out.
Has a reaction equal and opposite. Blow up the Nord Stream pipelines? Okay, we've entered a new phase. One in which the United States is directly at war with the largest nuclear power in the world. Doesn't mean it'll go nuclear immediately, but it does suggest there could be consequences.
Now, there is absolutely no evidence that the United States had anything to do with blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. In fact, the international consensus is that Russia sabotaged their own pipeline to put economic pressure on Europe because Europe is so dependent on oil and gas from Russia. So what is Tucker talking about here? He's instantly going to blame the U.S., blame the military for this explosion with no proof that it was our military that caused this pipeline to explode? Why would he do that? Why would Tucker go to bat for the Russians in that way? So the Russians win on two different fronts here, right? They successfully sabotage their own pipeline to put economic pressure on Europe. And then they have their own little spin machine, the right-wing talking heads in the United States who are lining up to blame that explosion on the United States, spread disinformation at every turn. This is what they do. So Tucker is 100% doing the bidding of Putin and the Russians here. Not surprising to anyone because the right-wing media has been doing Putin's bidding for years now in support of Donald Trump. But look at what else Tucker says here. Let's play the second part of this clip.
If we actually blew up the Nord Stream pipelines, why wouldn't Russia sever undersea internet cables? What would happen if they did that? What would happen if banks in London couldn't communicate with banks in New York? Just that one piece of it, leaving aside its potential effects on our power grid. But let's just say the banks couldn't communicate with each other for one day. What would the economic effect of that be? Oh, it would cascade downward into your house. We could have an actual collapse. We could wind up very quickly in third world conditions. Those are the stakes. Have the people behind this, the geniuses like Tory and Newland, considered the effects? Maybe they have. Maybe that was the point.
So not only is Tucker accusing the United States of committing an act of war, blowing up a Russian pipeline would be an act of war on the part of the United States, essentially causing World War III. Tucker's blaming us for that, blaming America for starting World War III. But he's also sort of making light and excusing the potential Russian response. If we, in fact, did commit an act of war against Russia, he's excusing the Russian response. He's listing out the things that Russia could possibly do to retaliate in an attempt to sort of blame Biden for that retaliation. You know, I'm old enough to remember when the standard for media, the standard for politics in the United States was that political divisions in the United States stayed within our borders. You know, we could have disagreements, Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, but those disagreements stopped at the border. We didn't involve other nations in our political disputes. We didn't criticize our leaders to other foreign leaders. We didn't do that, especially not to Russia, who has been historically our enemy for so long. I'm also old enough to remember when Republicans were the hawks, right? We're the anti-communist Russian war hawks who were calling for, more wars, calling for the United States to intervene in wars all over the world, and especially, not taking the side with Russia, wanted us to fight Russia at every possible turn. So now you have right-wing media in this country, and Tucker Carlson and others and other talking heads, siding with Putin and Russia against their own president, taking the side of the Russian autocrat, the Russian oligarchy that's abusing its own people, over the word of their own president, Joe Biden, over the United States military. And it's Russia. Republicans are taking the side of Russia over the United States. I mean, this is exactly what Donald Trump did. Trump said that he believed Putin over his own intelligence agencies, over the CIA. These people are literal traitors. They're giving aid and comfort to enemies of the United States. That's the definition of treason. Can we stop letting MAGA Republicans get away with calling themselves patriots? Can we stop thinking of MAGA Republicans as the pro-USA patriot party? Because they're not. They're not pro-USA. They're pro-Russia. They hate the United States of America. They hate America. They would rather us be Russia. They would rather us be a white ethno-state oligarchy with an autocratic leader that just wipes out democracy to favor a minority. They want to get rid of democracy in favor of minority rule by a select group of people. That's what they want. Russia's their model. Is it any surprise that these people are supporting Russia over the United States? Russia is who they want us to be. It is utterly disgusting that you would have media in the United States backing a Russian dictator, backing a brutal, repressive Russian regime over the United States simply because of a political difference they have with the party in charge, with the president's party. That's disgusting. That's not patriotic. That's anti-American treason. You can't be a patriotic American. You can't call yourself a patriot if you're siding with Russia over the United States, if you're siding with Putin over Biden, whatever your political disagreements are with Biden. You can't call yourself a patriot if you're siding with the Russians over the United States military. You can't call yourself a patriot if you are saying that any sort of Russian attack on the United States would be justified in response to our attacking them. That's not how patriotism works. We all know that Tucker and Fox News is basically MAGA fascist Trumpist state media. Well, they're essentially Russian state media too. They're an arm of the Russian propaganda machine. And this is exactly the outcome they want. They want to cause division and hate and fear in the United States. For MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting independent media.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.